Welcome everyone to Resource Roundtable. I have one quick announcement, and that's that the Working Washington 5 grant is launching on August 17th. And please contact me or Google Working Washington 5 and read up about it, because there's a little bit of preparation you might want to do beforehand. So with that in mind, I'd like to welcome our guest today, who's James Davis from the ScaleUp program. And I've been speaking with James online for some time, and I've been aware of the ScaleUp program, and some of the businesses in Jefferson County have taken this program. It's for existing businesses and businesses that are seeking to grow. And I'll let James fill in the details because he's going to do a much better job than I am. So thank you, James, for taking the time out of your day to be here and to share the program with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for inviting me, Cindy. As you guys may know, the ScaleUp program is a statewide program. It's one of those things that through the pandemic, we've been able to transition from more localized programming in just Thurston County to statewide, and being able to partner with organizations such as EDC Team Jefferson. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here real quick. So the ScaleUp Business Training program is best described as the pathway to 7 figures. Many of the businesses that take the program have been in business for a couple of years. They've hit certain different thresholds, like they've run into capacity issues. They've run into issues of being able to hire, build out systems so that they can make they can leverage their own efforts a little bit more, understanding how their finances are working, and understanding how they can use marketing and market value evaluation to make more money with their same efforts. So what is ScaleUp? It really is focused on established businesses. It's not a startup program. It's more for launch. It's more for those that seek to scale. It's based on a program that came to Thurston in 2016. The ScaleUp Business Training from the SBA, a little bit of backstory here, came to Thurston County, and it was initially targeted at businesses over $500,000 who had been in business for at least 3 years. And that ran for a couple of years until the funding was taken away in at the end of 2017. And since then, it really has been at the Center for Business and Innovation, and we've redeveloped it and made it more relevant to our current times. If anybody's familiar with the Kauffman Foundation Growth Ventures track, that's a 2011 curriculum. We've brought it up to speed to what's affecting businesses now. And this program is taught by experts. Many of our trainers are SBDC advisors. They've got years of experience teaching other businesses how to scale and scaling businesses themselves. The length of the program is 9 weeks for the live sessions, but really we know that 9 weeks isn't going to be enough to train and scale your business. So you're not going to do it all at once. And so these 9 live sessions are really deeper dives into the content and more peer roundtable discussion. And we do cover 3 learning mediums, and I'll get to that in a few minutes, as well as developing a private social network statewide for businesses that want to stay and keep in touch with other businesses who are at their same stage. It is grant funded at no cost to Washington businesses, so it's very important to note. So again, a couple of the hallmarks of a business that this works for. They are typically running up to capacity issues. Many times you'll hear the business owner who's been in business for years saying, I can't take on any more business. I don't have anybody to do the business, or I can't work 80, 90 hours a week in this business, or I don't want to work 80 or 90 hours a week in this business. And really with the right systems, you don't have to, and you can expand. They're also looking for ways that they can remove themselves as the key competitive advantage. So really, as a business owner, oftentimes people will find themselves knowing key components that the business can't live without, right? They have to be there, otherwise certain things don't get done. Well, this program teaches you how to build operational systems that allow you to remove yourself from owning a job and help you to create a system of business of systems that make you money and allow you to have those operate themselves. And then also, exit strategies, right? You get older and you don't want to do it anymore, or you get beyond where you want to focus on that. Going through the ScaleUp program is going to help you create step-by-step processes that you can transfer and increase the amount that your business is worth down the road. It's hard to sell a business where there's somebody that is the key competitive advantage, right? You've got Bob, he knows everything about everything. He's got all the connections. He knows exactly what orders need to go in, exactly what inventory needs to be on hand. And when the business cycles take off, you remove Bob and he sells the business to Jim. And if Bob doesn't correctly convey all that information to Jim's going to be starting from scratch in many ways. And so if we're able to create the systems that we can pass on, remove Bob as a key competitive advantage and allow those systems to be passed on to Jim is going to pay more for that system. And then also this program is also very useful to seek funding from lenders and investors. It'll help you break out your business processes and help you to explain your strategy and your system to people that may have a financial interest in your business in the future. So just real quick, going over it again, the Kauffman Foundation was the origin of ScaleUp. We have brought it up. The Center for Business Innovation has continued the ScaleUp program after 2017 through local partnerships. Different cities, the city of Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater, all contributed financially. And we have been working with master trainer Daryl Moreau, who's, again, decades of experience in coaching and owning and scaling his own business, in bringing it up to make it relevant for today's environment. Especially post-pandemic. So these are some of the components that you will go through as a ScaleUp participant. And each one of these builds on the previous one. As you go through ScaleUp, you will learn how to evaluate your business. You will explore growth opportunities, create strategic marketing decisions. You'll look at how you value your products or service, and then potentially change how you charge for it or bundle those services. And you also create systems and processes that help you to not only automate the business, but scale in different areas. So you don't have to necessarily focus on all the work or maybe low margin work, but you can focus on the work that you want and help you to increase your profitability. As well, in the final module, we'll go over financial acumen and helping people to understand how they can utilize the metrics and ratios that they have in their financial reports. And, you know where the numbers come from, but how do you understand? A lot of people don't understand how to leverage those for future growth opportunities, and that's one of the parts that we train in the ScaleUp Business Training program. One of the cool things that we've done over the last few years, it used to be an in-person, lengthy program. And when it was on AFPOSTA, well, actually, even originally, it was 4 to 6 hours each session. You do a lot of the learning in that session. Having some background in being an entrepreneur myself, realized that that's just not going to work for many businesses. They can't take themselves out of their business for that long each week, especially over the course of 3 months as it had been in the past. And so what we've done is we've created an online learning environment. If anybody's ever gone to college, you've got homework, and when you show up in class, you've got a deeper dive discussion, maybe a little bit of anecdotal instruction from the trainer. And that's really what I wanted to bring here, is more relevant conversation to these in-person sessions. So this online learning environment, not only is it built so that you can take it at your own pace, the homework part of it, right? But it's also perpetual. So those that take this program have perpetual access to this online environment. And as I mentioned earlier, 9 weeks is not enough time to scale your business. It's an ongoing process. You'll find something that you'll focus on for a couple of months in and of itself. And so we want you to be able to reference videos as they become relevant to you. The live sessions, as I alluded to, are deeper dives into each of these conversations. Each module builds on itself, and these live sessions help facilitate conversation between peers and with the instructor to talk about things that are actually impacting businesses today. So you'll be able to hear from other businesses, maybe even potentially in your own industry, and definitely many in your own region, about things that are impacting business in that region, and being able to address some of those nuanced conversations in that class. And so each of these 9 sessions covers one of the modules, covers the different things: seizing market, sizing up your operations, creating an exit strategy, financial acumen. They're all covered in those sessions, and those discussions are had. They're very organic, and many of our scalers, our previous scalers, think that that's one of the most valuable components to the program. Those are virtual. So it makes it more convenient. They're only an hour and a half. They are always in the time slots of 8:30 to 10 a.m. in the morning, or 6 to 7:30 p.m. at night. Our upcoming sessions are an example of that: August 24th in the morning and at night on Wednesday. As well, again, it's an ongoing process. We wanted to provide resources. So the Monday study hall session is an opportunity to jump into a discussion with a ScaleUp trainer. So these are only ever hosted by our ScaleUp trainers. Again, the people that teach the class are here to answer questions as they become relevant. So if you graduated in cohort 1 of class 1 and you wanted to jump in today, and cohort 1 of class 1 beginning of 2021, right? Maybe marketing was your thing then. Capacity is your thing now, and you wanted to jump in on a Monday study hall session, you could, and you could ask those questions about, how do I implement an operational strategy that's effective? And the cool thing is that oftentimes there's 7 to 10 people in that session as well, and they're able to you're all able to bounce ideas. So it really is kind of it's a way for instructors to people to still have access to our ScaleUp instructors, but also a way to keep that collaboration going. And support from the ScaleUp Alumni Network. We have built a private social media platform. I felt it was very necessary to keep this closed, right? I didn't want a Facebook page, so we don't use any of the main social media platforms. We've built one out on a network called Mighty Networks. It does have its own Android and iOS app integrations, so you can easily download it on your phone, but it's closed. The things that are discussed in that network and the activity that happens there happens between members only. And a lot of people find value in that, because when you're talking to people about your business experience, or when you want to seek advice, you don't want it showing up in a Google search engine. Company A asked, well, how do I fire employees? Well, no, we don't want to put that out there as Google searchable. And so these are questions that you can collaborate with other businesses, and there's an understanding in that network that what happens in the network stays in the network. And so what you're able to do is have candid conversations and direct messages with other people who are in your same spot, working on the same problems. And again, our online learning environment is hosted in this network. So once you graduate from the ScaleUp program, and that's attending the majority of the live sessions, then you have perpetual access to the ScaleUp program and its resources. A couple of fun facts. These numbers have actually gone up, but for this last quarter, right after quarter one, we had since 2021, we had 480 statewide participants. We had 184 minority participants. 274 of our participants were women-owned businesses. 49 were veterans. So that's just kind of an interesting stat that we like to show that we were able to reach a lot of different groups and try to provide value for everybody. Success factors: we've partnered with a number of trusted community organizations. We've partnered with the SBDC, the GSBA, the MBDA, so the Minority Business Development Center, the Greater Seattle Business Association, Small Business Development Center. EDC Team Jefferson is another one that we've partnered with, and we work with the ADOs across the state in order to provide this program. And we definitely have been able to, in this new format, work through the geographic and demographic diversity and being able to reach more people. So cool development in our world. We will be launching a Spanish language cohort in September. So in September, all of the ScaleUp online learning platform is in process of being translated and will be completed for our September launch. It will be the exact same course in Spanish. And we have a native Spanish speaker who has experience teaching business courses in Mexico, going to be teaching that class. Many of you who are in the manufacturing sector or who have worked with Impact Washington know who he is, Miguel Moreno. Miguel will be teaching our ScaleUp course here, and we're really excited about that. So if you know some native people with Spanish language as their first language, please do share that we will have this coming up here in September, because I really do feel like this would be an opportunity to help reach people who are looking for this. It's no cost to the business. In the past, we have had to charge the businesses $1,599. It was, $1,600, but $1,599, it's less than $1,600, right? But that has been the cost for the program, to actually deliver it, to be able to pay for our instructors and the online platform. And this is currently covered through the Washington State Department of Commerce by grant through the EDA, the Economic Development Administration, Economic Development Administration, until the end of this year. So the August 24th cohort is going to be a great opportunity to take advantage of this program at no cost. And again, we couldn't do it without partnership from ADOs such as EDC Team Jefferson and the Department of Commerce. Our next cohorts start on the 24th. If you are accessing this on your computer, you can use that QR code and go directly to our ScaleUp Washington site. And then if you have you ever used that? I don't know if anybody ever had experience with the QR codes on their cell phones. I geeked out over this a long time ago when I was running an Edward Jones office, and I put QR codes on all my business cards, but it didn't really take off in 2008. And so now that it is a thing, and you can just open up your camera and take it straight to that link, I had to throw it on there. But if you want, you can find more information on scaleupwashington.org. You can also email me directly at jdavis@thurstonedc.com, and my phone number is 360-464-6051. And that is what I have for my presentation today.
Well, thanks, James. That's really great to hear about the ScaleUp program. I'm going to leave this slide up, or ask you to leave this slide up for a few minutes so people can play with their phones or take down your email, and maybe get the ball rolling with a couple questions, and then anybody who has a question for James can either put it in the chat or just raise your hand and we'll have a direct conversation with each other. So I want to find out, maybe I missed this, but is there a criteria to get in beyond being existing?
Honestly, there is no, so as many of us know, revenues change radically for the same level of business across the state. A six-figure business in King County is maybe at the same level as somebody who's making $60,000 or $70,000 in a more rural county. Really, the criteria that I put on it was a couple of years in business. I wanted people to be able to kind of go through those initial growing pains of starting a business and get to a point where they were at a position in their business to scale operations, scale their successful operations, rather than just figure out the marketing for the first time. So that really is, it's more important time in business or previous entrepreneur experience than it is necessarily a hard and fast revenue number.
And can you tell us a little bit about what's happened to the businesses that have been through the course? Like, have they been able to make some changes that you've tracked over time?
Thank you for asking that. Most businesses that take this program have hired after this program. And that's one of the things that I do want to impart on people is that if you take the program, you have to be open to expanding your business. Some of the key components of developing operational systems are being able to delegate. And so if you're a solopreneur, if you're scaling, you're thinking about ways that you can create systems and remove yourself necessarily from being the key competitive advantage. The majority of businesses that have taken this program have hired at least one person within 6 months of graduating this program. And we collect survey data at 6 months, right? And so the actual increase in revenue is harder to track, but 95% of people who have taken the program leave the program more confident that they came in being able to increase their revenues and scale their business.
Very good. It looks like Jay has a question in the chat. Jay, would you like to ask your question live, or would you like me to frame it for you?
Oh, I can ask it live.
Okay. Thanks.
Just very interesting, the 9 sessions that you have. I was just wondering if you could give a little more detail on each one. Like, what is the marketing? What is the operations?
Yeah, certainly. So initially, we're going through where people start. Often they're really good at selling the product that they create, right? Many times people have a service. Most of the people that take the program have been in the service industry, but I say most, but the majority, right? About 40% of people are in service industry. Many people we get people from all different angles, but there are some common factors. You have to understand where you're coming from. And so we want people to be able to understand how to quantify their business, how to quantify their efforts, and being able to understand how their competitors impact their business. And that's the initial portion of sizing up your business. And then expanding on that, right? We want you to be able to explore different growth opportunities. If you're looking at starting a specific type of business, is there a sector or a demographic that maybe would benefit from your business, or you could benefit from? And that's what's the cool thing about these modules, is that you'll learn the baseline for these, and then you'll have the discussion in class, and you'll get to bounce ideas off of 20 to 30 other people about different ways that they could see your business expand. And then you decide on what strategic decisions to make and how to quantify whether it's a valuable decision to go that direction, or whether it's a dud, right? Is this idea truly something we want to pursue? How to strengthen those strategic decisions and your product to be more effective when you're trying to reach out, and then how to, again, seizing the market, Leading the organization is really about that operational system and the culture of your business. So they go kind of leading the organization would be an introduction to systems and processes and how to develop a culture that's receptive to those processes. And then managing operations gets into the nitty-gritty of assigning roles and tasks within the organization. And then the charting financial performance is it really is a pretty self-explanatory. It's how to use those ratios, how to use the numbers that you have in your financial statements to measure what your efforts are and how they're moving forward and where some opportunities can be. So hopefully that answered your question there, Jay.
Yeah, that was helpful. Thank you. One other quick thing. Since
Sure.
you've gone to this more remote way of presenting, are you able to handle more or fewer organizations in each cohort?
You know, honestly, we are able to handle more. In the past, when we had it in person, an average cohort size was roughly 20 to 25 people. In this current model, we can support up to, we can support up to about 60, 65 people. And everybody learns at different rates. And we do have, within each of the sessions, we'll have breakout sessions, right? So we break them down into smaller groups so they can have more conversation for those that may be sitting in the background just watching. As well, our trainers are aware that there are some people who may be a little bit more shy on reaching out. So they are trained to help provide opportunities for those people to present their questions.
Yeah. And when you say 20 to 25, was that one person per organization or 2 or 3 per organization?
No, in terms of people coming in right now, these August 24th sessions are open statewide. So even if you're outside of Jefferson, you can access this program. In the past, when it's been in person, it's been specific to an ADO, whether it be Skagit, Kittitas, Jefferson, Thurston, and those have been generally regionally. If that was,
yeah, I think my question is, if I've got if I've got a small manufacturing company, do I go by myself or
Gotcha.
do I bring 2 or 3 other people with me?
Thank you. That makes more sense. When you choose people to take the ScaleUp program, you're choosing decision makers. If they are tangibly impactful in the operation of the business, and you think that they should be a part of the strategic growth forward, then you should bring them. If it's if you are the owner and you're managing, a director in, then yes, that would be a good partnership. Or if you're inviting in another executive from your company, good people to have on the call as well. Probably not going to be something for mid-management or lower, depending on how large your organization is, just because they're not the ones that are going to be making those executive decisions.
Well, James, there's another question in the chat that's kind of based on something that you and I were talking about before the Zoom meeting started, which is succession planning. I don't know how to pronounce your hyphenated first name here. Mage Britt Peacock. Would you like to?
It's from the Swedish, and the Swedes say Maj for that's their month of May. And I must be a stubborn 72-year-old Swede because I've never changed it to Susie.
Well, and I don't think you should have to. I think it's awesome that you kept it. So as far as exit strategy, one of the key components to having an exit strategy, you're not going to necessarily provide the valuation yourself. You are going to provide a strong business model, though. And the business model has to be able to prove profitability. It has to be able to prove efficiency, and it has to be set. And so through this process, you will develop operational structures to implement those marketing and value proposition decisions. And each one of these modules it's relevant, right? Because we're already on that screen, but each one of these 9 modules builds on itself in something that you can tangibly present to a firm that would evaluate your business, that you could tangibly present to an investor or to somebody who you'd potentially sell the business to. So really, it's not necessarily just one document, right? It's the whole business structure. And we're hoping you build that business structure so that we can take you out of the business and allow you to own a system of business systems that make you money.
Yeah, I want to tag on a little bit. I think, my perception of this program is that it helps you structure and describe your business and really create the methods through which your balance sheet gets really strong, which is going to show the value of your business when it's time to sell. If you want to talk specifically about the selling price of a business, you could certainly call me and we can use a spreadsheet to do some calculations. But I think that the biggest question is, how far ahead do you need to start to think about that? And how do you continue to work on your business to show the value to a prospective buyer? And sometimes taking 2 or 3 years to really plan your exit strategy and to build your balance sheet can help you get a better price for your business.
Absolutely. And I always tell people, whether they're 3 years, 2 years, 3 years in business, start with the exit in mind. Because if you build that system, it gives you more freedom and flexibility to think strategically down the road rather than try to put out fires.
Yeah, and I guess I worked as an SBDC advisor for a number of years, and I love the bullet point that you included in your descriptor about learning to work on your business, not in your business, because it seemed like that was really the most common threshold that my clients struggled with is, you know what you can make and what you can sell, and you do that to the best of your capacity. And then you reach this point where you can't do more on your own, and it's sort of learning how to structure things so you don't have to do it all on your own. And you're not necessarily burdened with a bunch of tasks that you don't care about or want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you get more for your time and your effort? I like that. There's you have to think differently, and it's kind of hard and painful and unfamiliar. But there's, once you get over that hurdle, then everything gets easier, and you have more options available. So I really think this program could help solve that threshold problem, and I'm pretty excited about introducing people to it. So thanks, James, for being here. Yeah,
absolutely. I think one thing, just to frame it just pretty succinctly, is Robert Kiyosaki. Many of us know who that is. He said once, if you work in your business, you own your job, right? You don't truly become a business owner until you own the set of systems that make you money. And I know that's kind of repeated multiple times throughout this presentation, but I just want to drive that home. You want to own a business. You want to be a business owner, not own your job. And that's what we hope you do.
Great. Well, are there any other questions? I'm kind of curious who's in the room, and if anybody wants to share what kind of business they're running and how scaling up is interesting to you. I'd love to hear who you are and what you're interested in. And everybody's on mute, so if you want to speak out, do unmute yourself.
Hi there, I'll speak up.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, it's Jonathan Ward. So I co-own an animal care service, pet sitting, dog walking, overnights, cat care, and so on. And we wrestled a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, with hiring and opted not to. So I'm actually, it's good to hear this. I don't think the scale up is the way we want to go. We have been looking at possibly selling it in the future and how we would go about doing that. So this has been helpful to see. I think the scale up for us probably isn't the way we want to go. I understand the philosophy. You want to increase the balance sheet, the revenue, so you can sell it for more. But we're just curious. I'm curious more for an exit strategy for, I guess, solopreneur, right? Who's not delegating much. And I don't think that necessarily applies here, but that's kind of where I'm at and why I was tuning in.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing up your story and telling us who you are. And we have, for what it's worth, there has been a couple of businesses in a similar capacity that have taken the program that are in your same spot. Not everybody hires. The majority of people do, because the idea really is to, again, create the system, remove yourself, and keep that competitive advantage. But there are still tangible benefits that you can receive, even if you aren't looking to necessarily hire. And if you took the program, it might become more clear how you could hire if you wanted to, with some nuance. So, I would still encourage you to take, because again, we've had a couple of businesses that are in a similar model as yours, or similar service as yours, take the program and find value in it.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Thanks.
Yeah. And if anybody, go ahead.
So my Brit Peacock has a statement in the chat. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Got a restaurant that's interested in the program?
Well, I would love to help you get enrolled in the upcoming cohorts. Again, we do have 2 sessions, right? We try to make it accessible for people. So we offer a morning session from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Those are the 9 live sessions. And then we offer a nighttime session from 6 to 7:30 p.m. So depending on where it works best for you. Yeah, so that would work. The morning session would probably, or either session actually. But yeah, feel free to jump on there, ScaleUpWashington.org, and you can go to the registration page there and get signed in for the cohort that matches what works best for you.
Well, how about Livia or Catherine or the person who's showing up as home folder? Would you like to make a comment or ask a question?
Hello, Cindy. How are you doing?
Very well. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. James, thank you for the presentation. I really appreciate it. Tina, Tina Flores-McLeese is the founder and CEO of Clarity Enterprises. And we do financial health for small businesses, mid-sized businesses, nonprofit, and profit businesses. So she's been in business for, goodness, 16 or 17 years. And I've only been with the company probably for a few months now. And so she was traveling today. So she asked me if I could kind of join in. And I'm like, sure, why not? Just get the information. So I'm just here listening, getting the information, just going to pass it on to her. So, but thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And feel free to pass my personal contact information on as well. If she wants to have a one-to-one conversation, we can set up a meeting where I can talk to her a little bit more about whether or not it would be the right type of course for her.
All right, sounds good. I will do that. And I like the opportunity that there's 2 different times of the day, So yeah, I think she would really like that as well. So, but thank you, James. I will definitely pass on the information and have her reach out to you if need be.
Awesome. Thank you, Lydia.
You're
There's
welcome.
a huge need in Jefferson County for all kinds of business services, and I could see Clarity expanding here to
yeah.
serve more customers. So thank you
Definitely.
for your interest. I appreciate it.
Yes, definitely. I could definitely see that as well. So. Mhm.
Thanks everybody for being here. And this is a really good opportunity. We don't often get courses of this caliber offered for free. So do sign up before the end of the year if you can. And I just wish you all the best, and in celebration of our community being robust and interconnected and alive and really good at what we do. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Cindy.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
James. Take care.